Continuing on with our little mini series here, comparing Fidelity, Coinbase Prime, and now Kraken on what it's like to set up a trust account. We're going to cover Kraken today. So, to tee it up with a little bit of context, my name is Brian. My wife Sharon and I have been doing Bitcoin together for over 10 years now. And we've worked for multiple crypto companies and just been pretty deep in the movement for a long time, watching YouTube and learning about Bitcoin and crypto on YouTube that entire time. And now, what's happening this year is we've kind of like stepped up our estate planning for the first time. And so this is one of these things where it's like you hear about estate planning, you hear about like this kind of stuff, but once you actually do it, it really is like a learning by doing type thing. There's no other real way to there's there's no other way to like absorb it. And it's like, okay, what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is when I started out in Bitcoin, I was very much like kind of the classic like loudmouth young person libertarian like on the internet. Like I fundamentally believe that Bitcoin is better than fiat money. I fundamentally like philosophically want to see Bitcoin replace fiat money as the world reserve currency inside our lifetime. And I feel like that's incredibly possible. I feel like that's hugely possible. I think Bitcoin has come such a long way from where it was at the very beginning, and now it's being talked about at the the highest levels of power in the world, and all of the kind of functioning of Bitcoin is staying the same with all of that giant attention on it. It's incredible. It's super incredible. And you're seeing companies like Steak and Shake and Sheets convenience store taking it as payment. And it's truly awesome. Like everything is playing out awesome. And crypto and Bitcoin has like truly changed our life. And so now this is the next part of the journey of kind of figuring out how to open up a trust account. So actually titling the custody of the Bitcoin and crypto in the name of a living trust for your family. And this is one of these things that when when you used to get that answer of like, oh, like crypto's not mature yet, oh, like it's not ready yet for like high net worth individuals, like I used to have that kind of young person like bristling at that. But as I've gotten older and like we have our own kids now and like multiple houses and like things like life is more complicated, like our personal finance situation is more complicated than it was. And I kind of get it now. And through the process of trying to set up a crypto trust account, I get it even more. And so kind of diving in on Kraken specifically, um, it it was easy to find the application. It was lumped in with the business application, which is fine and normal. That's the same way that Coinbase did it. But the questions that were asked in the application were just very business only. Like there was no sort of branching into once you selected trust, the rest of it didn't really like change at all. And so it kept asking about like all these like business related things. And so I kept just attaching like the certificate of trust just like over and over again into the application because there really was no like off branch into it. And so there was no fee. So unlike Coinbase, there was no fee to apply, which is good. But so then I went to the live chat to just kind of get more information about the application. And what's interesting about Kraken's site is it has a really aggressive AI bot that it again it's not like they don't get enough traffic to kind of these trust and business accounts in order for the bot to be helpful. And so you ask it to offboard you to the human, and then the first human I got, it like said one response, and then the inquiry was like closed, and it went right back to the bot. And so I like chatted with the bot again. I was like, hey, like really want to talk to a person about this and really understand. I finished the application. It told me to complete another step by email, but then that email never came. Just like very classic, kind of like just very classic, like it's hard to follow flows, which is fine. Like building software is hard. Like nailing flows for every person is really hard. And but so I'm relaying this to the bot, get to a live person, and the live person just kind of was like, "Hey, like, thanks so much. I can see that we're already working on this. We'll get back to you by email." And so that was the result of that for that day. And I got an email back this morning that said, "Hey, it doesn't look like we've actually got your application yet. Like, you need to verify your account." And so, which totally makes sense. Like, I hadn't completed like uploading the IDs and stuff of everything I typed into the application. I'm assuming that's what they wanted to email me for me to continue, but that email never arrived. And so then what I let this person know back by email was like, hey, I'm following their instructions on your site, like for verifying and where the verification button should be, but it's not there. And so what it feels like to me, like unless I'm just like fully missing something, what it feels like to me is that it just that verification email never happened, and then for whatever reason I'm stuck in like a limbo state where the verify button is no longer on the dashboard when you actually log in. And so the the first impression takeaway from this is just simply that there isn't enough trust traffic or business traffic in order for this flow to like be prioritized, and kind of nailed down at each step of the way. And so just stuck in a funny like limbo state. And so the live chat is, I kind of went back to the bot this morning and like couldn't get a live person. And so I replied to the email and just said, hey, I don't see the button. Like, let me know what the next steps are to be verified. And so first impressions wise, Chatbot was less helpful than Coinbase is. The fact that there's no fee is helpful. Fidelity Fidelity's brokerage trust account sign up was flawless. Like that was the most like streamlined. Clearly, they get a lot of traffic on that. Obviously, just like for a classic brokerage account where you can hold the Bitcoin ETF in the brokerage account, but you can't hold on-chain Bitcoin in the brokerage account. And then, but where Fidelity is like kind of falling one degree short right now is on the Fidelity crypto accounts. You can't title it in the name of a trust. And so it's absolutely awesome that they make it really easy to open up a crypto joint account, because that's something that Coinbase and Kraken and the other exchanges that I've worked with in the past, they can't cleanly do joint accounts. So Fidelity can cleanly do a crypto joint account, but then everyone across the board doesn't super have like a streamlined family trust sign up is kind of that's the overarching like takeaway from these series of 3 videos. And so if you haven't watched the Fidelity video or the Coinbase video, I would encourage you to go watch those. And then kind of wrapping up with just like a little bit of big picture and some positivity on this, because I'm not down on all 3 of these companies. Like we need all 3 of these companies to succeed in order for Bitcoin to replace fiat money. And so and I actually functionally believe that kind of like 35 to 55-year-olds, like families with sizable jobs and like living in the suburbs are really actually the driving like economic force of this. Like Bitcoin is fundamentally better than fiat money. Fiat money has fundamentally like wrecked the lives of people that don't own assets, and like families that already understand how to hold stocks, how to hold real estate, how to nail all this stuff. I really believe like them having a good experience onboarding into Bitcoin and into crypto is what's going to kind of again continue to catapult Bitcoin over fiat money, because the logic is all there. The logic and the macroeconomic backdrop is all there. And now it really is just like a functional tactical thing of like, can these families open up the types of account structures that they need in order to make Bitcoin a significant portion of their family finances? And I believe like 0.21 Bitcoin is a significant part, like a significant amount of Bitcoin to own. And I believe that these types of accounts are going to be super important in terms of like family wealth being held like in Bitcoin, for generations. And so just ending on a positive note, like I'm still bullish on like all 3 of these companies. I'm going to continue down the rabbit hole of like how to, hold assets jointly with a spouse or in a family trust, just in Bitcoin, because it really matters. It honestly matters to the future of Bitcoin, and it honestly matters to the future of regular families being able to protect their assets and protect them from fiat debasement.